Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, September 25th, 2022. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern. I would say that at the top of the list, I guess you could say, that there's one thing that this civilization is goaded into and manipulated into, and that's fear. There's all forms of it, all levels, all frequencies. And what is it made of? It's made of ignorance of one's own self. Imagine how you would be in the event that you discovered on your own decision, choice, that you weren't the body, that you were the God within the body, and that on top of that, you were immortal. You were a mortal supreme being that would never cease. What do you think? And that's where you would reside. Sure, you'd walk, you'd be in a house in the body, and body would maneuver, and you'd experience things. But you would know implicitly that you were the God in the body, and there would be no fear. Zero. You wouldn't be fearful of anything. And this is part of the discovery when we're in these bodies. And our lives, it's ironic because our lives are meant to be a magical manifesting adventure, not a struggle, fear, anxiety, worry, stress, hate, greed, manipulation. These are, and that's why it's so discomforting for us in most cases, because it isn't our natural state of being. In order to experience your greatest magic, power and freedom, you must first be totally free from the grasp of fear. When our heart is truly fearless, our soul trusts that it's safe to perpetually open up to life, and nothing feels impossible for you. You can ask anything of this universe, and it is not too much. The fearless being is the most desired, empowered, and beautiful being in the entire universe. Whatever their heart desires instantly begins to manifest into this world. Now, a lot of people would say that's not possible. Where do you see that happening? And all kinds of doubt and contempt towards it. Yet when you learn how to transform fear, every moment becomes an invitation to meet the divine. Awaiting within each person is an enlightening heart, opening, godly experience. The discovery is this fearless freedom begins with one simple step. Approach all fear with fascination. The reason we talk about fear in this meditation is because this planet right now is going through a major transition. And pretty much the extent of it is way beyond anything that has been experienced before by civilization. So we choose, as all of this is circulating all around us, we meet fear with curiosity, life takes us into higher states of expansion instead of deeper, limiting sensations of contraction. Fascination makes us become more open, relaxed, and receptive to the magic that is all around us. We naturally want to dive into life and experience each person we meet with endless wonder, curiosity. And this creates more intimacy. It requires tremendous courage to change our relationship with fear. Yet, if you don't fear, fear will continue to castrate the rest of your life. That's pretty true. That's pretty much spot on. So sometime this week, pick one day where you are going to create more freedom in your life by meeting your fear with fascination. Whatever may happen to you in these short 24 hours, do not let any fear shrink you, yet allow it to move through you in such a way that it creates a transformation inside you. Breathe into your fear. Welcome it, and when you say yes to it, it will shift before your very eyes. If you can maintain this commitment to yourself for this one day, you might just believe by evening time that you are one of the most fortunate, sacred, and amazing beings who are alive on this planet. The possibility of living in doubt, skepticism, and resistance to life will always be there. In each moment, fear can sneak in and take on one of these disguises. It doesn't mean you have to pay attention to it. You can choose to ignore any fearful energy or feeling that you sense growing inside you and breathe beyond it. Simply take a look underneath the contracted fear-based energy, and you'll see that it's an angel in disguise, simply there to help you create deeper roots of love. Now, does fear have a special and sacred job in our lives? Yes, it does. It is going to make sure we don't die without feeling ridiculously alive. These bodies, right? It is going to make sure you don't die without feeling ridiculously alive. If you are not pouncing on your life mission, taking the risk to open your heart to love every day, believing in the impossible, and reaching for the miraculous, then fear will do its job and start eating at you. We really do need fear there. Yet we don't have to live in it. If our world was completely without the concept of fear, we really would be kind of like in a catatonic state. There would be no courage or vigilance of awareness. We wouldn't be very accurate at focusing our precious attention and intention into what makes our heart fully sing. As Ambrose Redmoon said one time, courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. For those who are real lovers of fear, For every day of this next week, explore a feeling of deep acceptance with your personal relationship with fear. How do you typically respond when fear shows its scary head? Do you run and hide, then retaliate with anxiety? When fear comes into the body, what happens? So my invitation is to make this more conscious so that you learn how to use fear as a tool instead of being used by it. When you stop feeding fear, fear can feed you. It's just energy. And when you find out how to welcome it in with curiosity, it sharpens your focus, clarifies your intentions, makes your whole body, mind super passionate about what you want to get out of life. So my invitation for you this week is no small matter. It will shake you to your roots. This is what it means to do so, that the real metamorphosis can begin. You stop resisting fear and start welcoming it in. Learn how to ride the hungry tiger instead of being eaten by it. You will actually enjoy everything about life again. In some way, we are all running away from ourselves. Yet, whatever parts we are running away from always end up becoming what we run towards at some point, in this lifetime or the next. Learn how to embrace your fear, love your fear, and you will form a deeper spiritual respect of life, for life. You will appreciate all variations of this life, and not just be seeking to have easy, good days. Find what it is you truly fear. Is it love, intimacy, success, failure, poverty, wealth? Whatever it is, invite it in and see how all your ancient phobias instantly flip around and become waves of enthralling fascination. You have fun with it. You can look forward to each meeting you have with fear. And when you do, you have fully mastered the game. You see, all of these things that we don't understand, we turn and go the other way. And we look at it as a hassle, a frustration, and why is this here? And instead of turning and walking into it and letting it pass through you from the perspective that you are the master. And you're learning about fear and what fear is and how fear can assist you and not discombobulate you. The moment you start seeing life as non-serious, most of us, for some reason, believe that since we have these adult bodies, right, we can't be childlike, so we have to take life serious, more so than is necessary. And when we stop doing that, see, when we slow down, that's a tough one for many. Slowing down. If you were zooming along the highway, right, and you were going so fast that everything on either side of you, in front of you, and above you was a blur. You really couldn't enjoy anything because you were going so fast, and you couldn't really see anything. Now, cut that in half and slow down, you'll see things that you never thought before. You'll experience things that you've never experienced before. And when we shift and we decide on our own, this is a choice for each of us. So we decide on our own, well, I'm going to slow down. What am I in a hurry for? Why am I in such a hurry? Doesn't make sense, does it? It goes back to the tortoise and the hare story, right? So when we slow down and we start seeing life as a non-serious thing, a playfulness instead of a drudgery or challenge, all the burden on our hearts disappears. All the fear of death, fear of life, fear of love, fear of everything disappears. We start living with a very light weight or almost no weight. Have you ever felt so light that you feel like you can just jump up and fly? And we have all these wonderful things to choose from and to learn. Fear, right? Slowing down, focusing on the breath. Ask yourself, how often do you worry about your future? Now, it doesn't mean you're necessarily aware of it, right? Yet the act of worrying is one of the biggest, I would put it right up there at the top. One of the biggest energy drains we have that stops us from manifesting the life of our dreams. You can kind of look at worry, it's a lot like TV, and that the worried mindset will pull you in and entertain you for hours, days, years, and even lifetimes. Worrying is praying for what you don't want to manifest, and is exactly how we create what we don't want in our lives. If we are always putting energy into what we don't want to happen, how much energy is left to meditate and feel what we do want? When we spend our time hoping and wishing that we don't experience something, this universe just hears that as something we really need to experience. You look how all these are connected, and the fascination of it is how are they weaved together like that? Worry stems from not trusting your personal connection to this universe. Worry stems from not trusting your personal connection to this universe. It is created from being attached to some positive and negative idea about a future situation. The mind is attached to the thought that it will not happen the way you think it should. Worrying is living in a what-if state of mind that is visualizing what you don't want to experience instead of what you do. When we are worried, we have stopped appreciating, trusting, and are focusing on fear. What might or might not occur is ultimately, really and truly, up to the universe in the end. And our main job is to raise our vibration so that we do our little part in making this planet a more enjoyable place and inadvertently attracting the highest possible people and situations into our lives. Worry is caused from lack of consciousness. In other words, not being aware. Okay? We all know what that is on this planet with the majority of this population. It is not conscious. It is, that's the dilemma. It is conscious in truth, but it is not aware that it is conscious. Now, this can be shifted with a little mental discipline and focus. When worrying, the reins on the mind are too tight on fear and too loose on love. The mental horses of the mind run wild when worry is present, and you end up getting pulled down roads you never wanted to go down. If and when you have been practicing the fine art of worrying for years, you may be numb to passion, pleasure, and freedom, and have become a worry zombie. Now, to step out of the zombie zone, you simply choose or need to do one thing. Pull back on the reins of your mind. Steer those addicted horses back to your pleasure pastures by staying focused on trust and feeling the positive outcome you really want. You'll soon find that the mind is much happier and its worried approach to living will leave your life stable. This universe knows what it is doing. It is divinely intelligent and vastly creative. What if the future, let's say that the future was 100% perfect, exactly as it showed up, and there was nothing you could do about it? Let's say that you could see the bigger picture of the next 100 years of your life and know that there was absolutely nothing you needed to change for it to learn what your soul came here to learn. How would it feel if you could surrender to trusting the future all the time? Now, obviously, it is up to you to let go and experience trust for yourself and this divine cosmic play called life. Now, when we let go and trust what is and what will be, magical things begin to happen. This universe will start answering your every request because you are in alignment with what is, instead of trying to change, control, or conquer what is destined to be. We all know that the mind is too small of a container to understand how everything is predestined. And yet we have the free will to change our eminent future. And the future is not set in stone. It is written in the sand, which ironically is what allows the mind to experience the energy of worry in the first place. If everything was set in stone, there would be no way we could grow and have the grand experience of shifting from love to fear. When you are ready to step permanently out of worry mode in your life, take an honest, deep look inside yourself and see what your personal worry issues are usually around. Why are you so attached to these issues and not the other issues? So you get curious about the subtleties of this attachment and simply notice how it feels to be attached. And the next step is replacing worry with wonder and being curious about what these hurting parts inside you truly need. After you find out what they are missing, which is, it could be many things: love, trust, appreciation, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, then let them feel what they need. Feel a sense of wonder inside about everything inside you. Constantly refocus your mind on being curious about what it discovers is true and real. Every time the mind goes into worry, automatically replace it with wonder. Implement this simple switch the instant you begin worrying, and your life will become absolutely wonderful. Now, you can do this, but of course, like anything, it's your decision to apply it, right? It's nobody else's decision. It's yours. It's your choice. Choose one of your main worries, right, to replace with wonder. Do it right now. Now, you can either, in the course of your day, you can either write down your top 3 biggest worries in this life, then write down 3 new statements that flip these worries upside down by implanting the energy of wonder. For instance, if you're worried about making enough money to cover your bills, you might say, I wonder how the money I need this month is going to show up. Pretty interesting, isn't it? So this is like with anything. But it's being consciously aware of this, not letting it slip by, and not let the ego mind keep you attached to worry. I wonder how the money I need this month is going to show up. Practice saying these wonderful sentences to yourself. And if you care, choose out loud. Anytime you start to worry, get curious about what fearful future you're running from and find out what it is like to be at peace, even if the future should occur. Even if that future should occur. Focus your mind on the expansive feelings of peace, trust, and relaxation anytime you get caught in fearful future mode. Now, we know that this life is definitely full of surprises, and it will give us the greatest gifts that we could ever desire when we remain curious and open. Isn't it ironic that all of us are massively amazing, supremely powerful, deeply, eternally loved beings? Yet, it's all about being confused or seduced by the ego mind. And see, we all have the ability that when these things come in, because none of us are exempt from them, they come in. A worry. Let's look at this one and see what this one's about. Let's embrace it. Come on in here. I'm going to give you a big kiss and a hug. Come on. Right? What do we usually do? We kind of push it away, right? We just, like a fly, it keeps flying, we keep batting it away. Get out of here. But you'd be amazed what happens when you turn with supreme curiosity and say, come on in here. Let's see what you're about. Let's see why I'm experiencing you right now. You'd be amazed what happens every time. And if it comes back, you do the same thing. We have the power, each of us do, emphatically speaking, to instantly and effortlessly materialize any desired outcome into the physical world. There isn't any of us that do not have that power. And it is equal amongst us all. So it's not like someone over here is more powerful than someone over here. Now, the key words here are always instantly and effortlessly. Instantly and effortlessly. When any efforting or new training were required to become, let's say, to make you aware of your natural manifesting power, it wouldn't be supernatural and would just be another experience in this life that would come and go. The truth is that as long as we have a body and mind, we have the power to manifest anything into the physical world. This is what we do when we enter these bodies. We manifest. We take energy consciously, right? We move it into form, right? The universe comes in, swoops in, and says, I'll take it from here. It moves it into form, creates it into reality, and then we experience it. There is no need. There really isn't for any of us on this planet, right in this now. There is no need for another moment of suffering to occur for us to realize this deeper truth inside. There's no reason for it. Who we really are is beyond the physical world, which is what enables us to manifest anything in it. We come from the unmanifest. that is pure, unlimited, divine potentiality. We are naturally souls, permanently and forever. For eternity, infinity and beyond, this spiritual essence is the core truth of who and what we will always be. There is nothing, absolutely nothing we can do to change this, nor anything we can do to turn off these natural manifesting powers that come with these bodies and minds we are inhabiting. We're inhabiting this. We go into physical form. Should be pretty apparent why. To discover all of this. That's why when we leave these bodies and we don't know who and what we are, there's going to be a lot more lifetimes in the fog until we do. And that's not a negative either. Eternity, spiritual essence, is the core truth of who and what we will always be. So we have a choice. We always have choices. We experience ourselves as natural manifesting beings in our everyday world can be easier and more enjoyable than you really think. In fact, each moment in the now, each moment, is another direct doorway to exploring the divine understanding within us and all around us. Now, what could be more enjoyable than that? How could we ever get bored on this planet? This inner and outer exploration of the divine is what makes our entire journey on this earth worthwhile, and will provide more evolutionary progress for our souls than anything else we could or should be doing here. And there's this discovery to creating, manifesting what we really want in this life comes from shifting into this higher spiritual frequency of thinking and consciousness. When we are vibrating with joy, enthusiasm, love, and trust, we will automatically attract things, situations, and people that resonate at this higher frequency. Does that sound difficult to understand? High vibrations attract even higher vibrations, and so on. Wherever your attention goes is where that energy flows. We do not always need to be aware of this process for it to work. Now, with everything happening on this planet, right? Dates and times and whens and hows and whys. Kind of boring, isn't it? To spend our energy on that stuff. We know all these dates throughout eons and all the lifetimes that we have experienced don't happen. Yet, it's almost like an addict. We're addicted, and a lot of us get seduced into it. Where is it more exciting and thrilling for us to put our energies? I would believe that high vibrations, focusing on the now and our breath, moment to moment, seeking the God that we are within the body. That's where our attention would be very powerful to be. And vibrating with joy, enthusiasm, love, and trust and bliss, we're going to attract more of that. What do you think would happen if the majority of this civilization were to reach kind of like an epiphany, a light coming on, just blinding them, and all of a sudden they started to realize, I'm going to spend my energy going this way. I'm going to increase my vibrations and attract even higher vibrations, and so on. Wherever I put my attention, I know is where that energy is going to flow. Remember, you're the universe is you. That energy is flowing, and wherever you're focusing, you're literally charging it. And you don't have to always be aware of the process. Right in this very now, right in this moment, moment to moment, whatever we are thinking about, whatever we are focused on, is what is being created, manifested, moving energy into form, creating into reality, and experiencing it. And we are always doing this. Always. We're always doing this. We're always creating something, whether it is a compulsive worrying habit, an intimate relationship, our next meal, or world peace. Whatever we think about will grow and become our experience more frequently down the road. Now, here's a big question for you. Are we clear about what we want to create, manifest, and what we don't want to create, manifest? Are we clear? And we all enter these bodies with this innate ability to materialize thoughts into physical form, and can improve upon this gift by learning how to harness the power of the mind. All that is needed is total surrender to the idea, feeling, and experience of what you want to manifest, as if it is already here now. You may wonder, Instantaneous manifestation occurs when we can hold this sensation and continuously release the emotional negativity and resistance to having it be real. It's a tug of war. When there is zero resistance, total openness to the infinite possible ways it can happen, and a deep knowingness that our desired outcome has already manifested on some level for us in the here and now. It has to. It has to manifest for us instantly. This is the truth. And it is as natural as the warmth from the sunshine above. This is when we talk about, so just surrender to it all. Sit back and enjoy the ride. You'd be amazed that when you practice this, you choose to practice it. And it isn't an effort. It's with ease because it's our natural state of being. We don't have to force it at all. That's what's so exciting. This isn't something that we, go out and dig up and put on. This is something that we are. It's the real deal. And all of us maneuvering this planet in this life have it. So you figure this, right? You get a bunch of scuttlebutt, right? And you're watching and reading and you're seeing and you're listening and wow, this is horrible. Look at this stuff. What's going to happen? Immediately, look what happens. Your energy, where's it going? Where's your focus? And it's not like it's a bad thing that you go there. It isn't. But isn't it interesting when you say to yourself, I don't care to go there. I've been there a lot. And not just this lifetime. I'm going to spend my energy and focus on what I do want. Boom. See? Now, it seems simple, right? No, that doesn't seem real difficult, does it? Yet, when we are controlled by the ego mind, it's like a tug of war. Okay? Now, I don't know if any of you played that game where you have a group of people on one, there's water. Okay? Usually. Which makes it more interesting. It's just water and mud there. And then there's a group on one side and a group on the other side of the water. And you pull. And there's like a little colored flag in the center. When you pull that, when that flag gets all the way over to your side, you've won. But the interesting thing is that it can go on and on and on and on. You get tired, you get, literally exhausted at times. But you know what's interesting? Have you ever seen it where the team, one of the teams, just lets go? Lets go of the rope. And the other team totally wipe out. They just wipe out. It's kind of like you deciding to let go of your focus on those lower vibrational frequencies. And this isn't, and there's no guilt. It's not necessary to have any guilt. Or that you're doing something wrong, because the ego mind will try to convince you. You got to focus on this. This is important. This is serious. And you say, look, it'll take care of itself. I'm going to focus on what I want. I'm going to increase my vibrational frequency. And every time you do that, you will feel more of the God that you are in that body. And then you'll get to the point where wow, it feels really natural for me to do this. You're not being a hypocrite. You're not ridiculing anybody. You're not judging anybody. You've just decided for yourself that you aren't going to put that energy and that attention into that direction. Doesn't that make sense? Because we all know when we do that, what happens? Our vibrational frequency goes down into the sewer. And we've all been there. So it's like you're catching yourself, like a little peripheral vision. Someone has their hand and all of a sudden you're looking straight ahead, but you can see that hand in your peripheral vision, right? And you see it coming. And you go, nope, I'm going to focus on increasing my vibrational frequency, and I'm focusing on what I do want in this life, what I do want to experience in this life. And you'll feel this bliss bubbling from the heart mind, and you'll feel a lightness, and you'll feel a good feeling, a warm feeling. Okay? And you got all this other stuff over here. And you're saying, and as a matter of fact, your peripheral vision is going, okay, I know that's there, but I'm not going to give that any of my attention. I'm going to focus on what I want. I'm going to focus on feeling good, being free, and in wonder. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out.
Take an easy breath. Slowly in through the nose and easy and slowly out of the mouth. Remain still. Grasping onto the identities created by our minds will only bring us suffering. Labeling ourselves as someone who is somebody or has something limits our perception of reality. The truth is that we are this divine, infinite being who cannot be defined. We are none of these labels. We are limitless, more vast than any of us can imagine. So drop the identities. Rejoice in the boundless presence that you are. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We will return here Monday, September 26, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation program.